In this video, I'll be showing you what an AI employee actually is, how you can run your entire sales pipeline from the first missed call to the signed contract without you touching any of it, and where the honest limits are. Because this technology is powerful, but it's not magic, and you deserve the real version. Through building these systems for business owners, I've discovered that most people have this technology completely wrong. They think AI in business means a chatbot on your website or some tool that writes your emails. What's actually possible right now is closer to hiring an employee who works your pipeline 24 hours a day, never calls in sick, never forgets a follow-up, and never lets a lead go cold. That's exactly why I'm making this video today, to walk you through the entire automated pipeline stage by stage, show you exactly what the AI handles at each step, and tell you honestly where a human still needs to be in the loop. Let's get right into it. Now, you may be wondering what an actual AI employee is, but first, before I tell you what an AI employee is, I have to tell you what an AI tool is, because many people think they can just put an employee in their business or AI employee in their business, but not understanding what's the difference between that and it being a tool. A tool is something that you assign a task to, and you basically sit down and use it, and it helps you do a task faster in simple terms. But an AI employee, it actually, you create the process, or you create the employee to help it own the actual operation or the system of the whole automated process. So in layman's terms, it owns the outcome, and it handles the whole job without you actually doing any of the work. You set it up one time, you give it its actual database, or what we would call knowledge base, and you tell it, this is how you act when this happens, this is how you act when that happens. Many people confuse using a tool like ChatGPT or Claude or all these other great tools that you can use with something that they would say is an actual AI employee in their business, which is just not true. For example, an AI employee is something that you can actually connect to your calendar, can actually connect to your phone lines, to your customer database, and actually have real-time conversations and make logical decisions based off of the knowledge base you built around your actual business. And it takes its own action by answering questions, following up, even booking appointments based of the customer needs. This is why calling a tool just doesn't make sense, because a tool, you actually have to be the human in continually making sure that tool actually works. But with an AI employee, you set it up once and you only come back to it after something changes in your business. It's almost as though you've built your first good hire. At my company, we build these systems daily, and people are surprised on how real it feels and the relief they feel after they hear a voice agent answer the call. These are the exact systems that we build with my company, with Vectors, because most people are shocked when they first are introduced to a voice agent, and they remember the times when they would have to coach an employee or teach an employee how to answer the phone, or how to direct, or how to book, or how to qualify a certain lead. But now they can take what they know about their actual business and the wisdom that they have provided in their actual business and put it into the agent one time and never have to look back again. It stops being software in their head and it actually starts being staff. So that's what an AI employee actually is. Now, let me walk you through the pipeline it runs, because the way to understand this is to follow one single lead all the way from first contact to paying customer. So stage one, the lead never gets away. Have you ever been in a position where you are doing something very important in your business? You're looking over financial statements, you're looking to make the next best move in your actual business, or you have a team meeting, you have somebody calling sick, and what happens? The phone rings. Oh my goodness, the phone rings, and you have to get to that call. It has to break away from your focus. And now, if you don't get that call, the time that you've allotted to actually work on your business, now you're working in your business. But it's important to actually get that call, because that's more potential revenue coming in your business, right? So that's the exact point most businesses are bleeding. The inbound moment, the phone ringing while everyone's busy. The form filled out at 9 p.m., the lead who called 2 competitors right after you didn't pick up because you were not able to actually follow up immediately to actually help that particular person because you couldn't answer the phone. An AI employee answers every call instantly, like every time, day or night, holds a natural conversation, answers questions about the business, and captures exactly who the lead is and what they need. The speed is the entire game at this stage, right? Because you got to understand, most people, we are in an attention deficit. So what that means is most of our attention, as soon as we do something, we've moved on to the next task or something that's going on. So that's what's going on in your client's head or your potential client's head. As soon as they might have signed up to be a lead, I've experienced myself prior to AI becoming a viable force in business, to where the lead will forget they actually even filled out a form or called you because they are so consumed with other things they have to do in life, right? So an AI employee would help with being able to make sure you capture their lead, to be able to call them instantly, to be able to book or qualify an appointment instantly. So that way you close the gap that would be slow with an actual human, but speeds up with an AI employee. The business owners I work with constantly discover the same painful thing when the system goes live. They see for the first time how many leads have been slipping through this stage because the missed ones never showed up in any report. They just quietly became someone else's customer. So the lead is caught in a conversation within seconds. Now comes the part that separates a real pipeline from an answer machine, because catching a lead means nothing if the wrong leads eat your calendar. Now you might be like, okay, this sounds like, just an answer machine or somebody that can just respond to with TTS, but let me show you how this is a game changer. It can actually qualify leads for you. Oh my goodness, if you've ever experienced a particular situation where someone filled out a form or an intake form or some type of document that said they wanted your service, but they knew they did not qualify for it. When I say qualify for it, they did not have the funds to actually pay you for your service. You know how much of a waste of time that can be, because you scheduled the appointment on your calendar. They were allowed to, book the time, and they took up 30 minutes of your time, which could have been spent doing something else, right? Well, with AI runs the actual qualification questions in a natural conversation, budget timeline, what they need, whatever criteria you want a good salesperson asking without ever sounding like the form being read out loud. Like, qualified leads get booked directly onto your calendar in real time. The AI checks the availability, the offer times, confirms the slot, sends the confirmation, all inside the same conversation while the lead is still warm. And get this, you have not answered the phone, and you don't even know this actually happened until you get a notification that says this person called, with the transcription of the actual call saying that this lead is hot, or this lead is warm, or this lead is actually cold and they need other services. But the most important part of this, it protects your calendar, which in turn protects your time as a business owner, which is the most important thing that you can protect besides revenue. This stage is where most owners feel the shift most, because they stop waking up to a calendar full of people that are not the right people for their service and start waking up to an appointments the system already vetted. The quality difference in those meetings is something they bring up constantly. So quick pause here. If you're listening to this and thinking about how many leads your business is losing at these first 2 stages alone, click the link below and book a 30-minute discovery call with me. I'll look at your current call flow and show you exactly where leads are leaking and map what an AI employee will look like plugged into your specific business. Now, stage 3, because everything I've shown you so far is what happens when a lead corroborates. The real money is in what happens when they don't. So I know you might be thinking, okay, I've learned enough about an AI employee and what it does, and I've been educated, and wow, that sounds amazing. But many people don't understand that in business, The gold mine is in the follow-up, right? Most people do not realize that people are not ignoring your services. They just simply forgot to follow up, right? Or you forgot to follow up yourself. So most pipelines don't die at the first contact. They die in the follow-up. The lead who said, call me next week, and they never got called. The no-show who never got rescheduled. The quote that never got chased. The AI employee runs the entire follow-up layer automatically, reminders before every appointment, immediate rescheduling calls when someone no-shows, and persistent, polite follow-up sequences on every lead that stalls. Think about this. You used to have to be on your employee that actually was a human to actually, hey, make sure you follow up. Hey, did you call this person back? Hey, what did they say? Hey, did you say this in this way? Like, think about how, stressful that can be. But now with an AI employee, it can take your knowledge base, what you know about your business, the wisdom that you have gained about your business, and now you can apply it to a system that works 24/7. Sounds like a game changer to me. The system also reaches back into your existing database, the old leads list every business is sitting on, reactivating past contacts with real conversations, which is revenue mined from people you already paid to acquire. So you might be thinking like, okay, I need to get more leads, or I don't have enough leads to actually reach out to. Well, typically most people don't know that people 3 months ago that said no to your services or said no to something, or they didn't feel like would help them in that time frame, could typically say yes, and it could be the perfect time, but you would never know if you didn't follow up with them 3 months later, which an AI employee can be programmed to make sure it does it. Follow up is where automation most clearly beats human teams, not because your people aren't capable, but because humans under pressure and follow up always loses to the urgent thing, the thing that has to be done today, while the system never forgets and treats lead number 200 exactly like lead number 1. So the pipeline catches, qualifies, books, and chases without you, which brings up the question every smart owner asks me at this point, and I want to answer it straight instead of dodging it like most people in this space do. Where does automation stop and the humans still matter? Okay, that's a great question. This is where I tell every prospective client the truth. Upfront, the AI runs the pipeline, but for most businesses, the actual close, the high stakes sales conversation where trust gets built and the contract gets signed still belongs to a human. You gotta understand, most people, they can throw a curveball. Their situations are unique, and as time goes on, the AI can improve to learn those things, and you could put that into the system. But the safest bet as of right now is to still leave that to qualified people that do sales and that know the actual pain points to actually respond to certain excuses people might have about taking your offer, or people might have about taking your services, or certain things that you just don't know are going to come up, because people at times, situations are unique. That division is actually the design. The AI's job is delivering your closer a calendar full of qualified, show up ready prospects with full context. So the expensive human minutes in your business get spent exclusively where they produce the most. But let me caution you, because another thing is some people have this idea in their head and worry customers will hate talking to AI. And the real world answer is that a natural sounding agent that answers instantly beats a voicemail box every single time. And the leads mostly just experience it as your business actually is picking up the phone. And let me just tell you up front, I would rather lose a sale being honest about these limits than win one over promising, because the business this works for don't need the technology oversold. And let me just lay it out on the table for you. I would rather lose a sale being honest about these limits than win one over promising, because the businesses this works for don't need the technology oversold. The math on an always on pipeline works on its own. So now you know the whole system, what it runs, and where the humans stay. Let's finish with what actually matters, whether this makes sense for your business specifically, because it's not right for everyone, and I'd rather help you figure that out honestly. So is this right for your business, and what implementation looks like? So the actual AI employee actually is for people that have a real like inbound volume, leads coming in from calls and forums, revenue that depends on appointments or jobs getting booked, and an owner who knows leads are leaking but can't hire their way out of it. And you might be saying, well, how do we begin to implement this? We first start looking at mapping your current flow, where leads come from and what happens today when the phone rings, where they leak, and then the system gets built around your actual business, your questions, your calendar, your voice. Listen, this is not a tool. This is something that you can customize around the experience that you actually desire. The system goes live in stages rather than at once, usually starting with the inbound answering, then layering qualification, booking, and follow-up machines. So you watch it earn trust with real calls before it owns the whole pipeline. The owners I know that have done this describe the same change, and it's not just the revenue, it's getting the attention back, because a pipeline that owns itself is the difference between owning a business and being owned by one. Now that you've seen what an AI employee actually is, the full pipeline it runs from the instant answer to the qualified booking to the follow-up that never forgets, and honest limits where humans still win the day. You can stop thinking of AI as another tool you have to operate and start thinking of it as the hire that never sleeps. If you want to see exactly what this will look like plugged into your business, click the link below to book a 30-minute discovery call with me, and I'll map your pipeline with you personally. I'll see you in the next video.